Lex. I don't know what to think, but here we are in this ring. It seems so far from the truth, and I go hide in the booth. Can you feel the movement or spin? Can you see the curvature bend? Do you see when they spray the skies and they make up lies and do it again? Man, who's really in charge? How long has the lie been hidden? How long has time been broken? Cause every season is different. They tell you climate is changing. They say the global is warming. They think you'll need a vaccine, otherwise you'll die without warning. God put the stars, the sun, and the moon in the same sky. God put the devil on earth and let us reside at the same time. Maybe cause angels betrayed God all over a slut lust. Then there was a reset, some of us call it a mud flood. Firmament permanently fixed to a plane, perfectly placed, impervious escape for the human race. This is God's work, so ask God first every day. And it's not curved, it is straight. It is not a planet, it's a plate. This the other side of Hell's Gate.
What is up, Billiam?
We are here. We are here.
We are here. So,
We're there.
I'm going to roll the dice tonight.
Okay.
I'm going to roll the dice because
I like a good dice roll.
I always trust my intuition, and some of the best guests we've had on were due to me saying, this person seems awesome. I don't care about their followers. I don't care about any of that. They said some awesome shit. I want to talk to them. Mm-hmm. I will admit, this may be the quickest I've ever done that because it was one message, and I called them a dude, and they're a chick. So it's a chick, not a dude. And I'm not bullshitting in my response to them. It was literally like they were listening to my inner monologue throughout the day and put that in a DM to me.
Well,
and I was like, okay, we need to talk. I don't care. And then they were like, oh, I'm a chick. I mean, that's not how they said it. But I was like, oh, sorry for calling you a dude, but I don't give a fuck. We need to talk. It's going to be awesome. But so this is going to be great. But before we get into that, where do we go, Bill?
Oh, we go to phoneboothpodcast.substack.com where you get all the goodies that we offer you, and not just us, but other podcasts as well from our good friends.
Yes, and also, what else? Our merch store.
Our merch store. You can click on the little tab and get you. You got to get you a shirt, at least one shirt, if not a mug, but a shirt.
You know, if you're low on money, you can buy these stickers that from up close, they look like they say your government is flocking you. But when you hold them at arm's length, they say your government is fucking you. And they just so happen, like this was a crazy coincidence. Talk about rolling dice. Mm-hmm. The smallest ones just so happen to fit perfectly over a lens of the cameras that are on that thing. So that's weird. Yes, they do. And then to push that a little more, we have this shirt right here, the little badass child with a slingshot with a flock camera. So
what is he doing?
He's being wily.
Malicious.
That's what he's doing. He's being wily. Anyway, go check out phoneboothpodcast.substack.com. That's where we have everything. That's where they let us say whatever we want. Nothing gets taken off because we say the wrong word about the wrong country or the wrong person. Or any of that.
Just hit the subscribe button.
Yeah. You don't even have to do anything. And ask for an email. You can bypass that if you want. Just subscribe. It's fun. You get notifications. Go there. All that. So also, and don't forget to go to canambullion.com. This is not financial advice. It's just smart thinking. Go buy some gold, silver, platinum coins, bars, or bullion. It helps you hedge against inflation. If you want a big purchase, talk to Mike. He's a great dude. He's a conspiracy theorist, too. He's into all of this. He knows what's going on. He will help you out. Also, it comes to your house in a package that is not marked. No one will know what it is. They actually send it to you. It's not something where they send you a piece of paper and they say, you have this much amount of silver in your account. No, you actually hold the silver in your hand. It's here. I have some in the safe in the other room. I should have pulled it out again. I went out of town, locked it back up, blah, blah, blah. We'll get there. But anyway.
It's slightly up. But it's still at a good price. Just buy some silver.
Buy some. Okay, now that we got through all the business part, let's talk to Whit here. What is up? We don't know anything about you, so what is up?
All right, I'm going to give you I talk fast, so if you think I'm talking too fast, just let me know.
Oh, wait, hold on. Before you even start, let me interrupt you. It's important. I talked to her in the comments before or in the chat, and she said, I know I talk a lot, but I'm not offended when people interrupt me. I'm fucking paraphrasing. If you have questions, stop me and interrupt me. So I don't want to hear in the comments like, you interrupted that lady. She gave us permission ahead of time. Okay,
Right.
Now the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Not a snowflake. All right, I'm Gen X. Are you guys Gen X?
Yeah.
I
All
guess
right.
I take that title. I'm 82, so that's what
I'm 80. I'm 80.
All right, so how does this all start? It starts as a kid where you start noticing things. It started with Santa. We didn't have a chimney. Dad, how's Santa getting down the chimney? He tells us he's giving him a key, right? I find the Christmas presents in the closet, in their closet. Now I'm devastated, not because Santa doesn't exist, but because they lied.
Yep.
Next thing I notice is I was the remote control, obviously. Turn the channel, they're watching something big on the news. They're interviewing 3 people telling you what happened at this event where there's all these people. He tells me change the channel. We changed the channel again, the same 3 people. And I'm like, wait a minute. I said, why did they interview the same 3 people when there were all those people there? He told me to go to my room. Go to my room. You go to kindergarten, they show you the globe. You look at the globe, you see Australia's upside down. I start laughing. Teacher says, what are you laughing at? I said, they're upside down. Can't build a house upside down. She said, doesn't matter. They're not upside down. Okay, now you don't want me to see what I'm seeing here.
No.
This goes on all through your life. You start noticing things, the patterns. You notice the patterns, then you notice more patterns. Then what happens? You go to school. Then you start taking standardized tests. Then you see the patterns with those.
Yes.
Bob has 3 apples. Jane has 5 apples. Mary has 3. Not my business. I don't care. What are they trying to do here, though? What are they trying to do? They're setting you up to compare yourself to other people. This is how this all starts. Then, if skinks are stinks and stinks are winks, then what are these? Now they want you to group things together. If this person is this color, do you see where this is going? Mm-hmm. You start noticing these things. You bring these things up to other people. Then they tell you that you're crazy. Then you get silenced. Then you get told that you're stupid because you've taken these tests. You don't want to participate in these things. And then it keeps happening. Went to college, my first semester of college. Statistics. He said, what are the purpose of statistics?
Right.
Obviously keeping track of stuff, right? Everybody answers. And then he says it. To manipulate and control. I almost fell off my chair because here I am at
told the
17. Exact for the first time in my life, somebody told me the truth. Damn. At 17, I'm sitting there, I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, what now? Then you start telling people the patterns that you see. Now you're crazy again. Shut up, you're weird, you're crazy, you're mental. You go quiet. You keep watching. I start my job, became a cop. Then you notice the justice system is screwed up. The mental health system is screwed up. The family structure is screwed up. Big pharma's role in all of this. The government's role in all of this. What they subsidize, what they push. More noticing. Then you start feeling even more crazy. Then you just get quiet.
Yeah.
Because nobody's seeing this. You want to change this because fundamentally at your core, that's who you are. And you can't do anything. Then you start noticing the psyops on TV. Anytime something happens. When I saw the crime scene for OJ's case, I thought to myself, you've got to be kidding me. Because now I've seen crime scenes. And then you start comparing these things. And then another event comes out. And then you watch that. You look at this. You look at Gabby Gifford's shooting. Mm-hmm. I looked at those pictures and I thought to myself, he was one hell of a shot. Not one chipped brick, not one broken window, and she's sitting in front of a Safeway. You start putting all this stuff together. Sandy Hook, same thing. I didn't go down rabbit holes because I realized once you go down a rabbit hole, you're only going to find the Easter eggs that they put there for you to find.
Right.
Are you finding the truth? Are you finding more nonsense?
Good.
Then you sit back and you look at all of these things that they have a hand in, all of these institutions. Then you realize how they broke down the family structure. After he asked me to come on the podcast the other day, there have been so many things that I've been trying to tie together in my life. Mm-hmm. Things that don't make sense. I watched a Billy Carson video once. And again, I try not to watch anybody exclusively or to an extreme because I don't want to take my mindset and make their mindset my mindset.
Okay.
He's talking about all the different Bibles. He's talking about the King James Version. He's talking about this version, that version. He goes through all of them. All the same story. Some of the characters change. In one of the Bibles, Cain and Abel were women. That popped into my head the other day as I was actually cutting up a tree in my backyard. So then I start thinking to myself, everybody keeps saying, remember who you are. I don't know what that means. Everybody says it, but nobody tells you what it means. And I really started pondering it when I was thinking about what are we going to talk about. And then it hit me. All of these countries have Bibles. They turned every country against each other. How? In the beginning, religious beliefs. What's the one thing they don't want anyone to talk about? Religious beliefs. Everyone has their own belief. If you all have your own belief, that was the first thing that they did to separate all the countries. The Muslims, the Christians, Judaism, go down the line. This one worships Allah. This one worships God. You get it. Mm-hmm. And then I thought to myself, what don't they want you to know in the Bible? I didn't read the Bible until I was 46. Grew up Catholic, never went to church, went to Catholic school. First day of Sunday school, I said, if Jesus is God's son, who is his mother? And who are God's parents? And the pastor looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, well, who are God's parents? And he didn't have an answer. Yeah. And I thought, okay, well, if this was an easy thing, then there should be an answer for this, right? I have parents. He should have parents too. What is in there that people don't want to talk about? This is going to be a touchy subject. This is just my opinion only. And these are things that just now hit me over the past week of trying to piece things together when people say, remember who you are. I've heard the words fractals of God and that we're all connected. Everybody is worshiping and thinking outside of themselves, waiting for somebody else to save them. I don't know much about the whole Q process, Bill. Mm-hmm. What is the whole premise behind that? That we are, in fact, fractals of God having a human experience with all of the abilities that he has. The Bible says you will perform greater miracles than I will. I posted a video the other day of a preacher speaking, and it says, you speak life or death into things. The Bible, that's what the Bible says. It doesn't say God. It doesn't say Jesus. It says you. Is that what they're hiding?
Interesting.
Then
Amongst
they
other
compromise everything else. The medical. They want to make big pharma responsible for your health care. They want the government to be responsible for taking care of you. They take care of your food. They make you sick. They make you impoverished so that you never realize who you are and what you're actually capable of.
Wow.
I stand undefeated, by the way. I stand undefeated in my intuition about people because I will tell you, goddamn, if that wasn't
That's an opener.
most powerful 10-minute beginning of a podcast we have ever done with over 150 songs. I don't even know where we are now. Where we at? I don't even know. But a lot of them. And that was powerful as fuck. And I stand undefeated.
This remember who you are thing, this
out.
is recent? This has been happening to you recently? Or has it been like many, many years and then you just kind of lays by the wayside and then,
It all, here's the thing. How this has happened in the past week. And
okay.
Ted, I got to tell you, I cannot thank you enough because when I pieced all of this together, I was so blown away by it. When you start looking at things in your own life, if you can speak things into existence like that Bible verse says, but they tell you that the only way to God is through Jesus. But Jesus tells you in the Bible, don't worship me. If you are in fact the fractal of God, which I've heard that, and it struck a chord. It gave me goosebumps when I heard it. The chills went up and down my spine, and I thought to myself, that actually kind of makes sense. And then what happens in movies? It's right in your face. Mm-hmm. What did Voldemort do? He fractured himself into 8, 9 parts, attached himself to other places so he would never disappear. Would that not make sense that we are a fractal of God having a human experience? And that's why when everybody says Jesus lives, of course he does. He's within you. God is here. When they say God wins, is that what they're saying? And that this whole thing, we can rip the psyops apart from here until tomorrow.
Yeah.
When you go back to the Titanic, they needed to sink a ship in order to kill 3 people when you know that they have 150 ways to kill a person? That doesn't even make sense.
Right.
Oh, it was an insurance scam. First it was the Olympic, then it was the concertina. So the cabal defrauded
I've
itself.
had those same thoughts myself, and like all of those things are intriguing, and I'm not saying if they're right or wrong, but I definitely have had some of those thoughts myself where I'm like, there's probably a better way to take out 3 people, probably, but you know.
And then you see
I
the
know?
old newspaper articles where the person shows you the Titanic sank, everybody lived. And then you're
Yep.
like, is that the psyop? So this is why I try not to go down the rabbit holes, because are they trying to get you to another replacement for it? Just like with the Bible. Everybody says the Bible is the word of God. No, it was written by men. It was written by men. If somebody else wrote your life story, that story would be from their perception, their beliefs, their mindset, and how they perceived what you told them to be.
Do you believe
So something I wanted to ask you. Sorry, Bill, if you want to go ahead.
Oh no, it's okay. I just do you believe that they've lied about history, like they changed it and everything like that?
That hit me, the whole history. My dad was watching the movie Witness. That's where the Witness came from.
Okay.
He was watching Witness where they're dancing in the barn. That song was playing. Don't know much about, and he says it, he drags it out.
Yeah.
History.
Oh
Nobody
my
says that.
God.
Everybody says history. You run it together.
I
Bill,
don't know
Ted,
who
when
the
he said that,
fuck you are, but I don't trust you anymore because literally I had this conversation with my wife a few months ago about listen to what he's saying. All the things I've gone through. Don't know much about history. He says it. I literally
Biology.
said that. Biology, which we know is all bullshit. Don't know much
books.
about the... What was the next one?
Science books.
Science books. There you
Science
go.
books.
The French I took, like the French
Right.
whatever. But the science books, the biology, all of that, I was like, holy shit, dude, all these things tell us. I don't know who you are. You're probably my FBI agent that's forced to follow me, but let's go with it. Let's just roll.
I am, and I love you for it. And that's the thing, when you get those little tidbits. So over the past week, I've been putting all this stuff together, and then I'm like, okay, do we even really need to talk about the psyops? Because when you know that they're a psyop, what are they trying to accomplish? Are they trying to wake you up to the ridiculousness of it so that you stop paying attention to all of it? Do what everybody tells you to go within and remember who you are, because over this past week, I think I finally get the whole gist of what this was of the waking up. Growing up as a kid, if you grew up without money, what do you have? You have lack mindset. And then the government puts you into a lack mindset. The inflation, the housing prices, everything goes up. You get the lie about the dinosaurs creating fossil fuels, and it goes on. And then you realize that everything is a lie. My dad was a steel worker. When I tried to explain to him, Dad, the union's screwing you. No, they're not. Yes, they are. They're upping your wages. They're appealing to your sense of greed, and they're going to sell you down the road. They're going to sell you to China. And what the hell did they do? Look at it in every single state where they've done this. Detroit, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Philly, all of the steel mills, any kind of industry, the car industry, same thing. When you're telling somebody they deserve $50 an hour to put 4 screws in each car seat in a GM plant, that was a no-brainer that they were going to sell you out. He didn't see it. He's a lifelong Democrat.
Oh, sorry. You know what's crazy is I can't even say I was a Democrat because I wasn't registered, but I consider myself in the Democrat mindset when I was younger. Like, I wanted Obama to win. Like, that's hard for me to even say, but at that time, I was living in Las Vegas. I was like, yeah, fucking everybody should just be able to be, of course, because I bought into all that bullshit. I never thought I would be and I'm not even a Republican now. I know it's all a puppet show, but I'm definitely more towards the conservative mindset.
Right.
For sure, because, I don't want a bunch of people coming in and taking over our country. We should at least be able to have some pride in being what we are in our own country.
Right. And from the integrity aspect of it, that's another issue for me too. But here's the thing. I'm not religious. I know that there's something up there. What it is, I don't know. And I'm not ashamed to admit that, because I don't know, because nobody has ever satisfied my curiosity with what God is. We're all energy. Okay. How do they hide? Why are they so hell-bent on hiding what God is? If everybody fears it, the churches push it. Then what did they do? Took it out of schools. When they make something forbidden, what happens? The appeal to it comes back. Yeah. Where do all of your beliefs come from? It's what you were taught, what you were raised with, what you knew, what's been hammered into you. Not because it's necessarily right, but because that's the only thing that you know. So why does everybody cling to the Bible? Because
I'll agree with that to a certain extent, but something an old guest we had on really hit me hard. And it wasn't about religion, but it's something that I think, like, yes, I mean, I guess I can avoid it by asking you a question. Are you saying that you need the Bible and that to be a good person, because religion teaches you to not do these things, so you need to believe in religion in order to not do them? Or do you think that's inherently in people already?
I think it's inherently in people, and the only reason that I say that is, and here again, of all the things to hit me hard the other day, a meme. Satan and Jesus standing together. And he says, do they know that we're a metaphor for mindset? Oh. Dude, that hit me like a sledgehammer right in the gut. Here's my thing. I've been around Christians my entire life. Everybody that I worked with at one point on my squad was a Christian. I've subscribed to, I'm not ashamed to say it, this is real, this is me, this is authentic. I've done things based on the fact that other people have guilted me because of their beliefs. I got married because I truly thought that it was sinful for me to be with my ex because I wasn't married. I didn't want to get married. A piece of paper, a legal binding document is not marriage, but we were both cops. And I didn't know anything about having a medical power of attorney, or I never would have gotten married. Yeah. That's not what keeps you together. Okay. I got married. My one friend said to me one day, have you ever considered that your marriage possibly fell apart because God's jealous that you loved your ex more than you love God? And I honestly, like, I sat there and I thought to myself, are you kidding me?
Wow.
Like, here is, when I read the Bible, it horrified me. Because that's not what I have the perception of what this God is. When I think of a God, I think of your father, and your father is going to protect you. They're not going to torture you. They're not going to kill firstborns. They're not going to torture other people.
Some people's
He's
fathers.
Not going to bring this wrath down on you to torture you, to make you a good person, and then take you out for ice cream and reward you. I can't wrap my head and reconcile around. And when I go back to that meme, I see it. If you blame everything bad that happens in your life on Satan, but when something happens, praise God.
Yeah.
And then when it doesn't go your way, what do you get from people? Well, God's ways are not our ways.
Yeah. He works in mysterious ways. You'll never understand, guys. Like, so I personally believe in a creator.
I do.
I believe that the Bible is probably one of the better history books we have, even though a lot of it's manipulated, but I think there's some authentic stuff in there. I don't believe in going to a building to talk to God or your creator or whatever if you believe in him.
Correct.
I grew up Catholic, and so real quick, because I think you'll appreciate this, the day that I turned away from religion was I went to a Catholic church with my grandparents. My mom always went to a Christian church because she was rebellious. My grandparents went to a Catholic church. I went to them, St. Clement's, Andrews Avenue, Oakland Park. Everybody can look it up. It's now a Haitian Catholic church. It wasn't then. Anyway, we always went there. I don't know. I was gonna say they call it whatever, but I don't know how to say cat in Creole. But anyway, they probably do at the fair now. Cat kebabs. But so I went there with them all the time. When I went, Catholic Mass was still in Latin, which I thought was stupid because none of my family understood Latin. But they went there. They knew when to stand up by the fucking inflection in their voices and all that. But anyway, so we were sitting there, and it's a daytime Mass. South Florida, it's always bright out. Church doors open. Light comes in, so everybody notices. A homeless guy walks in the back. He sits down at the very last pew. He doesn't say a word. He's not bothering anybody. Everybody turns back around once the light goes away, continues with Mass. Me, being a young, curious kid, I keep looking. I see two ushers come up to him and make him leave. And at that moment, I was like, these people are not practicing what they're saying up there. And I think after that, intuitively, I was like, I'm done with this. I'm fucking done with this Catholic Church thing. And then, other stuff happened later. But so that's my story of when I was like started questioning the church. I don't remember how old I was, but young. Middle school, maybe before that. I don't know. It was weird.
That's example. Yeah.
My biggest issues that I've ever had were with so-called religious people, the Christians who want to judge every single thing that you do. They've got a Bible verse for everything that you're doing wrong. Don't cuss. Well, no unclean word shall pass from your mouth. Well, fuck you too. I feel like Al Pacino at the end of that movie. That is a turnoff to me. What I have found is the people who don't identify as anything, who just want to be left alone, or tatted up, have a ton of piercings, gauges, dreadlocks, and they're who they are, and they let you be exactly who you are too. Yeah. You will not be judged by people who just want to be who they are and not be bothered.
Yeah.
Why the insistence on other people that if you don't do what they want you to do, you're going to hell? There's another aspect of it.
Also,
just like anything else.
My issue is I try not to let the people that represent that taint that, being the Bible or whatever. Like, so I read the Bible more as an atheist than I did, because I used to be in a fucking hardcore metal band. I used to make upside down crosses on stage. We were all about anti-God. That's how I was. I was super atheist, rebelled against everything from that moment that I just told you about. And then I found Flat Earth, and then I realized there was a creator, and I had a lot of shit working out to do, because I know there's something, but it's not that, and we don't know anything, but that's where I'm at. So, like, it's a hard fucking road to get where we are, and a lot of people, like, act like we just saw some TikTok video and came to this. Like, it's not easy. Like, it's not easy to get. And by the way, I didn't even know that I don't even know that you are still a flat earther, but I know that you question the globe model now because you mentioned the globe thing.
Oh,
so I had no clue.
Don't believe the globe model. And I never did. That was at 5.5 in kindergarten. She showed us the globe and I laughed. I laughed. And then when they taught us about gravity, I'm like, all right, if that water's going to stick on that motherfucking ball, then if I make me some chocolate pudding, so I took the hand mixer, I make chocolate pudding, I take the one out that's going counterclockwise, I've only got the one that goes clockwise, I stick it in the bowl, I turn it on low, and I pull it up, and I'm waiting for gravity to do its thing and make that pudding stick onto that beater, and guess what? I got my ass beat because it didn't. And then I was like,
the ass beater.
So they're lying too. And then okay, so you go back to religion for a second. So you've got your believers, you've got your atheists, and then you've got your agnostics.
Yeah. I don't
Where
know.
are they going when they die if they don't believe in God? If you're a fractal of God, you don't need to believe in God, because what you believe will happen if you believe it. Where do Native Americans go? They don't have Bibles. They don't believe in that. They believe in the universe. They bless everything. They thank the buffalo for the meat from it, the hide from it, for making shoes, moccasins, weapons out of it. Are they going to hell because they don't believe in the Christian, the Catholic, the Presbyterian, the Protestant God?
See, so this is what I fucking mean. This is what I mean I don't know. You're definitely my FBI agent because we had fucking Nephilim Death Squad on, and the one question that I'm not going to say I pinned them on it because they pivoted and we moved on because, I mean, what else do you do? We do that all the time. But what I said was Christians believe, and I know this because my mom was Christian. I went to Christian church with her many times. I went to Christian fucking summer camp because she had to pawn me off somewhere. So I know what they believe. And they believe, because I remember the dude using his wallet to display this. Like, they believe that the only way to get to heaven is accepting that Jesus Christ died for your sins. That literally is the one requirement in the Christian faith to get to heaven. Like, there's a lot of things around that, and people would be like, well, you can't do something and know it's wrong. Like, yeah. But the one requirement... Well, even them, if you actually genuinely repent after and accept Jesus Christ as your Savior, you can go to heaven. So my question was, which is very similar to yours, say someone grew up on fucking Papua New Guinea, right? They've never heard the word Christ. They've never heard of Jesus. They've never heard any of this. If they live a noble life, they never hurt anyone, they never do anything wrong, do you mean to tell me that our God would cast them into hell simply because they never heard the word Jesus in order to ever be able to accept Jesus Christ as their Savior?
You're scaring me.
I don't believe that.
Well, then you'll get into, like, similar to the age of accommodation, like a child. That's why they say a child just automatically goes to heaven if they were passed away because they didn't have a chance to make the decision.
But Catholics don't, because Catholics believe in original sin. Catholics believe that you're born
a sinner,
and until you're baptized, that's when they absolve you of your
That's what I was
sins.
saying. The Christians, as far as I remember, have a
they don't believe that same shit. So
well, my friend's a Christian. He does the same thing. I over the years I've heard him say, "I was born a sinner. I live a sinner. I'll die a sinner." And I said to him one day, "Do you really believe that?" I said, "What does your Bible say?" It says you are made in the image of God. If you're made in the image of God, that means you're exactly like him. Mm-hmm. If this is where this is going to get, work with me here.
Yeah, I'm ready. Strapped in.
They tell you that Jesus died for your sins. If we're all fractals of God and we're here having a human experience, why would he have to die for your sins if God wants to experience everything through our eyes, through our experiences? That means you make your mistakes and you learn from them. You do the right thing, you do the wrong thing, you're held responsible for it. Why would he have to die for your sins when everything is the opportunity for you to grow as a person? Why would he have to die for that? If everything that you do that's bad, you repent for, why would you have to repent? If he died for your sins on the cross, why? Because the Bible says to repent? Was he a teacher? I've seen and heard the stories of him going to where the monks are, studying, traveling all over the world. That's what he did. What was he trying to do? Did Jesus come here like we did, memory wiped, no knowledge of who he was, and somebody said, remember who you are? My next segue, why did they burn the Salem witches?
Wait, hold on.
Did they die?
Hold on.
Before we go to that,
I want to ask you.
Question? Why did they burn the Salem witches? Were they the first ones that we've ever heard of that were trying to tell us who we are, what capabilities we actually have? Did the Salem witches die for your sins too? I'm not trying to piss anybody off here. Hear my heart when I say this.
You're definitely not going to piss either one of us off.
When I'm going through the Bible and I'm seeing all these things that completely contradict themselves, worship Jesus. You can't get to God without Jesus. Why?
So, you know what's funny about that you mentioned the Salem witches is because so many people were waking up to, like, why did they burn these people? Like, there must be another reason because there's no way these people that made it from one continent to another are dumb enough to believe that just because this shit happened, they're witches, whatever. So they came up with this story of ergot poisoning, of the bread was bad and they were tripping, and that's why they were acting all weird, and that's why the people, like, they literally for years, hundreds of years, I would say, have been feeding into this to steer the story in some fucking crazy way. But back to your point about the Salem witches, because I want to hear that.
Oh, hold on one second. I just have a two-part before we move forward, okay? Because I see where you're going. Like, there's so many contradictions. Now, granted, you know, there's the Christians, and then there's the Protestants, and then there's, you know, the Catholics, and there's all these different denominations, and they're all slightly different from each other. Now, it seems, from a Christian standpoint, right? Like, I'm not speaking from one, but if we had a guest on here, they would say, well, it seems like you're mixing Christ consciousness, like a New Age Christ thing, with old school Christian beliefs. You know what I'm saying? So my question is, are you a believer in the Christ consciousness and New Age movement? Like, you know, Christ is in us, the oil drips down from the spine and all that, you know what I mean? Like in the
33rd
chakras.
vertebrae. And
right, yeah, with the chakras and all that. And if not, do you believe, are you a Palladian or somebody from another galaxy? And the only reason why I asked that is because you said, you know, our memories were wiped, and here we are. Do remember who you are? So that kind of plays into that. You know what I mean? In that whole belief. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to gauge a little more where you're coming from, because it seems like there's a couple of different beliefs getting mixed in, at least from my perspective.
My mind is open because I don't want to have a closed mind. I'm the first person to admit, especially when you grow up and everybody tells you that you're stupid, you're bombing these tests because you're like, I'm not participating in this bullshit. I have what I call the China buffet of all these little pots simmering on the back burner. Right. Where I hear something and I'm like, okay, that gave me complete goosebumps. It ran up and down my spine 3 times. And I'm like, wait a minute, there's something to this. I take all these little bits and pieces and then I just let them simmer. When I heard the remember who you are, when did they start indoctrinating you? Why did they take over the school system? They want you to know only what they want you to know. What are they doing? They're constantly distracting you with things. They teach you things that don't make sense. Then they change them. Brock Riddick always posts those math questions with the brackets with this. When I was growing up, it was left to right. Didn't matter. It was left to right. Then it was DOMAS, DOMAS, divide, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Then it was Donbass. It's changed. Why? Because it makes people argue. It makes one person look smart, one person look superior, one person look inferior. I don't think that's what life is about, but they do it to confuse you.
Sounds awfully close to dumbass.
And then you and then you see where they do it with everything. Is that off the table for me that Christ is actually within us? No, it's not. What did they do? You said it. New Age. They want you to think it's off limits. Is that a possibility? I think it is. Was he a teacher? Was he just an ascended master who came to show you who you are and what you're capable of, because that's what's hidden in you? Did you ever watch these videos where little kids who are like 3, 4, or 5 years old talk about things that don't make sense, that they know these things, they have knowledge that they shouldn't have, and you're like, how did they do this? Before they're programmed. This happens before they go to school. Before you said it. I stay small and childlike. What does the Bible say? When I was a child, I spoke like a child, but I'm not a child anymore. That was changed. Yeah. Why? Because when you are at your smallest, at your most simplistic, when you go outside and you sit with the birds and you look up at the sun and you feel all of that on you, that's when you connect. The birds tweeting calms your nervous system. You are supposed to be walking in the grass, grounding to ground off negative energy, which keeps your blood from clumping, calms you, all these things they don't want you to do, which is why we have rubber soles on our shoes. Then what do? They hide what they don't want you to know. We're electrical beings, right? What do they want you to do? Reduce your sodium. Why? Because nothing in your body will work properly, because every cell needs sodium and potassium for the neurons in your brain to fire to get everything else to work in your body. They vilify everything that's healing for you. They reduce your cholesterol. Cholesterol reduces inflammation. Then you see the patterns there with everything that they've done there. Then they dismiss anything and everything that can only be explained by you knowing who you are as it's a medical miracle. Yeah. We don't know what it is. When a car rolls over a kid and a mom walks over and she picks that car up off of that kid, what do they say? It's adrenaline. Mm-hmm. Is it? Wait a minute. Did she, in that brief moment, forget my human body, who weighs 115 pounds, can't possibly lift that car, so I should just stand here? Right. What does she do? In that moment, she forgets who everybody tells her that she is. Everyone has always told her that she was. And she does what? Becomes that fractal of God who is within her, who was always within her, picks that fucking car up off of that kid, and there you go.
I have to mention, though, I don't care of our loyal listeners who are going to say, Ted's a repeating piece of shit. I feel it's one of the most important things I've ever heard and witnessed in my life. Have you ever seen the fleas in a jar experiment?
Fleas in a jar, where they won't go up to the top of the jar?
So what they do is they take fleas and they put them in a jar and they put a lid on it so they can't jump past the lid. And then they take them out of that jar and they dump them out. And they never jump past the height that lid was at. And not only that, but their offspring never jump past that height either. So once you program beings, whatever kind, to believe that they can't go past a certain level, they will never get past that. Because I believe we're born with powers that we don't possibly understand. That's why a lot of weird shit happens around babies. We deprogram them from speaking God, heaven language of the goo goo gaga, which we interpret it as, and program them to speak whatever language we have. Fuck them all up, take them away from God, inject them with vaccines, fucking cut them off from the mom's blood supply early, do everything we can to fuck them up and take them away from source from birth, because that's what they need to get them into school properly, and they have to be fucked properly with vaccines and everything regularly before that. Anyway, I think we're born with more powers than we can ever imagine at this point in our lives.
Are you saying in the image of God, Ted? With all of his abilities?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I am. Because I know that we can create. I've witnessed myself creating my reality with my thoughts. Something I never thought would happen, and I was like, I'm going to think positively about this. I'm going to say it. I'm going to do it. Like, this fucking podcast only exists because of that.
And then
I never thought, like, when you talked to me earlier and you were like, oh, I don't like my voice, but blah, blah, blah. That's been my whole life. I've always been weird about my voice. So let's start a podcast where everyone hears my fucking voice, you know? But, like, I did it because I manifested it and it happened, so.
You made the perfect point about the fleas, though. See, this is why this is working, because every time that I was trying to think of something else that I wanted to connect with that, and then there it is, you brought it up. The saying, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? Think about that. What is faith? The belief that you cannot fail. You know, everybody says that if you can do everything that God can do, what you experience is what you receive based on, once again, your beliefs. Who controls your beliefs? The government, the school system, what you grew up with.
Yeah.
When you look at those beliefs, you're limited by what you grew up in. If you grew up in a perfect house with two perfect parents, more than likely you saw a loving relationship. That's the only thing that you know. If you grew up in an abusive home, in poverty, you will find yourself an abusive spouse because that's all that you know. Your body only knows that level of stress, chaos, being scared, being fearful. If we are that electrical body and being, which we are, hence the grounding, and you know it, your hair's an antenna, your fingertips are an antenna.
Yeah.
If we are that electrical being, you are putting out into the world, this is all I know. What are you getting back? All that you know. If you get beat by a man and you decide to leave, if you don't take a look at yourself, self-reflection, evaluate how you got here. You know what? I grew up in an abusive house. This is all I know. I don't want this for myself. I want better for myself. You work on yourself. Heal from what hurt you, or you will forever bleed on those who didn't cut you. And you will keep attracting the only thing that you knew. Yeah. I've had 2 serious relationships, ex-fiance, ex-husband. Both of them were exactly like my dad. And I didn't see it. Now, here's the funny part.
Damn.
Over the past week, going back to manifesting your reality, which nobody thinks that they can do. You think that things happen to you. I had the greatest epiphany of my life. Our relationship got bad. He had mental health issues. Big Pharma played a huge role in that. And I wanted to leave. But I took that vow. And remember, that guilt got to me. I said forever and I meant it.
Yeah.
And I asked him one day, I said, what would happen if I ever left? You know, I just kind of said it jokingly. And he looked at me as serious as can be. And he said, I'd kill myself. Oh. And he meant it. And it cut me. He switched medications. One day I woke up. We were together for 20 years. He's standing in the kitchen. And he said, I have everything that I ever wanted. You're the perfect wife. I have the perfect life. But there has to be something better out there. And he said, I think I need to date. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
So this happens, and I piece it all together. Our dog had passed away the year before. He goes on another medication because he can't deal with the dog's death. Where does this go? Now, he had been on medication throughout our entire marriage. He went through things at work that, granted, worst things you could ever possibly see. If you do not heal that fractures everything in your life and it gets magnified. Like throwing a stone in the water, everything ripples out. He went on this new medication. He started to change a little bit. And I said, when did this all happen? And he said, December. Well, he went to the doctor in June. And what I didn't know until after he moved out, because I was sitting on the couch one day in the living room and I'm thinking to myself, what the hell happened to my life? Like, what happened? And I hear in my head, go take your vitamins. You didn't take your vitamins today. I was taking fish oil pills. Walked into the kitchen cabinet, opened up the cupboard door. And you know how in a movie something will come out of the cabinet at you, like right in your face, like they pushed it on like a stretch arm? The pill bottle came out at my face. And I was like, yeah. And I look, his dosage had been quadrupled.
Wow.
And I didn't know it. And I go on the internet, like the good little girl that I am, and I find the SSRI website, and I start reading. These stories are my life. My wife, my husband, my whatever, start taking, there must have been 50,000 stories. If there's ever, I mean, it was my life to a T. We just had a baby. She up and left. All these medications, right? All these links. His friends are like, what happened? I'm like, dude, I don't know. You tell me. I give them the information. They said, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Is this the person that you know? Every single one of these personality traits that he was displaying, and what do those drugs do? They take away your impulse control. Side effects may be gambling, excessive spending, hypersexuality, hypertalkativeness, blah, 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 on and on and on and on and on. That's what they do. In that moment, when he told me that he would kill himself, I thought, I'm trapped. I'm stuck.
Damn.
And I thought to myself, I wish he would just leave.
So
I wish he
guess
would
it's
leave
Oh.
because
that
I
he wanted to
couldn't
date other
take
people.
that. Right. I couldn't take that
Bam.
if he did it on me.
Wow.
And
Do
you
you
know
think
what
you
I realized?
manifested that?
I was just going to say,
Yeah.
this past week, I manifested that and I didn't see it until you asked me to be on the podcast. And I was like, holy shit. Things that happen in
That's
your life, they may not happen how you want them to. In that moment, I said, oh my God, I manifested that. He left my life in a way where I would never take him back. He cheated so that I would never
yeah.
take him back. And this whole time, what did I do? It was all me. There's something wrong with me. And I thought, when I realized that I manifested it, I said, okay, let's see. Let me try to manifest something. I'm going to think of two people. I'm going to see if I think about them, if we are electrical beings, we have telepathy, you're sending out a signal, you're sending love to somebody. Did you ever think about somebody and 2 seconds later they call you?
Yeah.
I did
Yes.
it.
Yep.
Two people. I thought of two people. One of them I haven't talked to for 7 years since I retired. The other one is the woman that I call my mom. Do you know, within 5 hours, my mom sent me a text message. And the person who I have not talked to for 7 years since I retired sent me a text telling me that somebody else was retiring and that out of nowhere, I popped into her head.
I believe it.
Wow.
I believe
Okay.
it.
Okay. Nicely done.
There's so many things I want to say. So hold on. Before we get from that, I feel like quick personal story. You were mentioning the SSRIs. So just so you know what we're all up against, which I'm sure you already know, but for everybody listening, my wife is one of the most level-headed and happiest people I've ever met. She's never depressed. She's never bitching about stuff. We're always laughing, joking around, blah, blah, blah. So she went to a new primary doctor because she got a new job. They had a new insurance, blah, 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 blah. Went there. Before she left, that bitch tried to put her on cholesterol medication, blood pressure medication, and also antidepressants because she was upset because they told her that she had a heart murmur and the doctor wouldn't explain to her what that meant. And she got upset and they're like, oh, do you think that you should see a psychiatrist? I can write you something for antidepressants till then. Like, they're pushing these on people nonstop across the board. It's insane what they're doing. Insane. Thank God she turned them down and walked out and never went back to that lady ever again. But this is what they're doing because most people would just trust their doctor and say, the doctor told me this, they must be right, I'm going to do it. And that's where they'd be. She'd be a fucking brick wall right now with zero emotion
Zombie.
on SSRIs, just fucking staring off into
there we
space,
go
and we'd
with,
probably be divorced.
With the other perfect segue. Thank you. The person of authority. The teacher tells you, stand here. Simon says, stand here. Sit here. Do this, do that. What does the doctor do? The doctor says the same thing. They're the authority. What do they know? They only know what they've been trained to know under the Rothschilds Rockefeller system. They tell you, oh, you're depressed. What are we pushing now? We're pushing antidepressants. Do you remember when all these celebrities were coming out and saying how depressed they were? Of course. Why? Because they wanted everybody popping pills. Yeah. Then the next thing you see on the TV,
in your life.
if your antidepressant isn't work for 3 out of 4 people taking an antidepressant, it's not helping. So now you need this other one. How did they did that with They did this with everything. Where did Viagra come from? Viagra came from them putting soy and other things in the food. When you see the Viagra coming out, you know they're doing something. You see where all the soy boys are coming. When you know, because you've read studies where they've actually changed the sex of a catfish by injecting more estrogen into it, then you see where this is all going. They do it with everything. They put that authority over you. What does that authority do? It takes away your identity and your, your autonomy. You're giving what are you giving away? Again, your power that they don't want you to know that you have. The government takes you down and beats you down. You need a license to drive. Not according to our Constitution, we don't.
They always sell it with guilt, too, with the, you're destroying the environment. You need to drink soy milk. Cow farts are ruining everything. Like, they put this guilt on you in order to put you into this fucking thing where you become half a fig. You know what I'm saying?
Similar to the faith religions. Yes, I see this full circle. I see what's going on here.
And the globe.
That too.
That also.
Right, but why and you have to look, why are there only ever two alternatives? The globe is flat, or it's either a globe or it's flat. They do the thing when you go in for, is the glass half empty or is the glass half full? Yeah. Okay, well, here's the thing. I have three other options for you. The glass is refillable. The glass is full. It's half filled with a liquid, half filled with a gas that you can't see. The last one, there's twice as much container than is necessary to house that fluid. Why am I only given two alternatives? They want you to toe the line. You only have two options. Pick one. They need you to follow their rules. They need you to be indoctrinated. Yeah. Is it a coincidence that the FBI and the CIA recruit from Ivy League schools?
No.
Is that a coincidence?
No, of course not.
The people who are book smart, who do the best on their SATs, who follow the rules, who answer the questions the way that they want them answered all the time without question. I looked at these questions growing up and I was like, the fuck does that have to do with the price of rice in China? Mm-hmm. I don't care how many apples Betty has, and I don't care how many Bob has. I don't care about Winks, Twinks, and Stinks either.
Who the fuck's this Betty ho? I don't give a shit about her.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about her. I mind my own business. I watch my own P's and Q's. Get out of here with that. Yeah. But when you see what they want you to do, what are those tests doing? Are those tests giving them a scale of who the program is working on?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I can speak from my personal experience, there was times when, like, I knew the right answer, but I had to put let me correct that. The right answer, meaning the answer they wanted. I knew what would get me the right answer and pass me, but I also knew what was the truth, and I had to answer the truth. And then they also brought me into the GATE program, which I was going to ask you about.
Yeah,
were you a part of that when you were talking about that, where they made you take all those weird tests with the
Gen
fucking
X. I would have
hearing,
so.
And you had to do the visual things?
I was a B student the whole time, which my brother was a straight A student, which I was the dumb one because I wasn't book smart. I would see things and I kept thinking to myself, my brother, I don't know how he ties his shoes. There's like no common sense there. And then I'm like, it's not common. It's noticing, it's seeing, it's being able to not think only within the box that they gave you to think in. Once again, taking away your autonomy, your identity. Then what do we have? Everybody wants to wear that Boy Scout badge of who they are. I'm a woman. I have a PhD. I have this anxiety disorder. I have this depression. I have ADHD. I have ADD. I have whatever affliction that they gave you.
Those are all excuses for your behavior,
don't want any label put on me for anything. People are like, oh, I can tell by the way that you act that you must be a Christian. No, I just believe that everybody deserves to be treated the same way. Whether you're a homeless person, whether you're the CEO of a corporation, I've grown up not being treated kindly. I put myself out in this world to say, I know what that feels like. I don't ever want anybody to leave me feeling as awful as I have at other points in time. I want you to leave better than you felt when I came into your life.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. And I literally live every day of my life hopefully living up to that. I fall short sometimes. We all do. Sometimes people piss you off. You can't help it. But I do my best to do that same exact thing. But so we got about 35 minutes left. I have to ask you because I feel like it may lead into a long thing. You told me something crazy about 9/11 and a terrorist and the FBI and your past. Can you please tell me that story? Because I've been waiting to hear it for like 2-3 weeks now.
Yep. It happened X amount of the terrorists lived in our patrol area. So of course we got.
So hold on,
debriefed
real
it.
quick. You say our patrol area. Does that, you mentioned earlier that you used to be a police officer of some sort?
Correct.
In what area, if you
where?
don't mind telling?
Northern Virginia.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you're right,
Yeah,
smack there.
so-
You're right in the thick of it.
Right. So they tell us that they're going to do a debrief on us, being based on the fact that. Sorry about that.
It's quite all right.
Based on the fact that, they live, they want to give us a scoop. I go there that day. There's 150 people in the room. I walk in. I'm late because I was on a call. I have to sit right front, dead center, right in front of this dude. The podium, I could probably reach out and touch it from where I am. That's how close we are.
Okay.
He starts going down the whole rundown of every single thing that happened. In their apartment, we found maps that had the plane flights all tracked on the. He's going through, we found the flight manuals in the dumpster. We found this, we found that. All this evidence. Every single thing that you've heard, we heard. And then the clincher, we find the passport. Now, here's me.
The indestructible.
I've been on for 2 years. Like, dude, I still had new car smell.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, are you shitting me? Like, you want me to believe this? So I said, he says, does anybody have any questions?
Oh,
and I
shit.
raised my hand
Yeah.
and I said, you want me to believe
Oh, this was my
that
last day on the job.
that these
Oh,
terrorists from the Middle East flew here on planes but didn't know how to fly them, had to go to flight school with the expectation, the hope, a wing and a prayer that they were going to actually learn how to fly in time to be able to put this off, go through the whole thing of every single thing that he said, down to the fact that we saw what all of that building coming down, the people coming out of those buildings covered in dust, where you couldn't even tell what race they were.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
want me to believe that that's what happened?
So you're telling me?
The whole room busts out laughing.
Oh,
Okay,
fuck.
hold on. And then there's dead silence. And the dude sitting next to me is a salty MPO, and he kicks my foot and he goes, what the fuck are you doing? Now I feel like, now I'm looking for that black spot from, the
Yeah.
Roadrunner that I can just crawl into. And I look at him and I see the vein in his forehead throbbing.
Shit.
He's got the PowerPoint presentation thing in his right hand, and he's squeezing it so hard that it's about to bust. There was about 15 seconds worth of silence, and in that time, everybody who laughed is looking at him and then looking at each other,
Yeah.
and they're like, holy shit.
I shouldn't have laughed.
Right. And he said, yes, because that's what happened.
Oh my God.
And I start looking around the room, and I see people elbowing each other, shaking their heads like, no, man, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
And the
This
dude
guy's
who
full
was
of
sitting,
shit, yeah.
the dude, but here's the thing. When you put that spin on it and you say it as ridiculously as I did, you brought terrorists here who didn't even know how to fly a plane. I mean, seriously, that's like sending a bank robber in with a getaway driver who doesn't know how to drive a car.
Yeah.
When you put that level of ridiculousness on it, and that's exactly what I did, his face told the story.
Yeah.
The dude who kicked me and said, what the fuck are you doing? He leans over and he said, he's lying.
No shit.
And I
You?
said,
Yeah.
I know. And he said, do you know why? And I said, no, I don't. And when we walked out, everybody was like,
And then he went,
what got you? And I said, what didn't you get? And they're like, what do you think happened? And I'm like, dude, I have no idea. All I know is everything in me was screaming. But then what are you also taught? Not to trust your instincts.
Right.
Don't
Yeah.
trust your instincts. Do not, no matter what you do, God, don't trust your instincts, because that authority has spoken over you. The doctor has spoken over you. The government has spoken over you. The teacher has spoken over you.
Scientists.
Do not Right. Deny anything that your body is telling you. Trust the government, the scientists, the doctors, because they know better.
Can I just tell you that I have known something was wrong with 9/11 since September 11th, 2001, and something that you just said opened up a question in my mind that I have never thought of in all these years of thinking about it, in all these years of having a conspiracy podcast. I've never once thought about this. Why the fuck did they have to send these retards to America to learn how to fly planes? You're telling me no one in the Taliban network
knew how to fly a fucking plane.
Yeah.
Was a pilot? None of them were pilots. They couldn't have bypassed that whole fucking possibility of getting busted, of training Arabians to fucking fly planes. None of them knew how to fly planes. Come the fuck on.
And the other
I can't
point
believe
was,
I've never thought of that.
The other point was, they're telling us that they had all these flights mapped out on this map of Ted, Bill, think back.
Yeah.
2001. What information was available to you from an airline? It's not like today where you can go on Expedia, you can click on a date, it'll show you 15 different plane flights and everything else. Where did they get this plane information from? I said that too. Dude, you're talking about 2001. Like, we're a couple years past alt insert for an Apple computer. You know, back in the day when we were in high school. Apple insert, Apple this, Apple that. 2001? The only rabbit hole that I went down for that was over the cell phones. Now, here's me. I've lived in the same place for 22 years. 22 years later, I still drop signal in the same spot for 22 freaking years.
Satellites.
Chinese scientists proved that nobody made a phone call from 10,000 feet. Yeah. They couldn't make phone calls from 4,000 feet back in 2001 or 2002 when they did this test.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, I knew. And then you hear that recording from the lady who called her husband and said, it's not real.
Yes. Oh my God. Also, there's just, there's too many fucking things. There's too many things about that are absolutely insane.
What do you think?
The next conspiracy.
What do you think happened?
Why?
Wait.
Hold on. I have to ask this. Why were there so many government contractors on all of those planes?
Yes.
Oracle
and
SAIC,
airline employees.
What's the other one? Systech. I mean,
because they were people that they could easily make disappear because they already had clearances. So they put people's names on there that they could send off and they knew they would never tell. That's why. That's what I think, at least.
This is everything. Okay, and then we know that time is not linear. We know that they can slow down and speed up time. I've also read that the military has access to, they can actually put us in theta sleep, basically freeze you like the Matrix, and do whatever they want to do. I've heard people say that the towers were empty with the exception of like maybe the bottom 3 levels. Did they theta sleep us? Look, dude, I had a friend who was a trooper. He went in the Pentagon. He will swear to you to this day. He was in a medically induced coma for a month because he burned his lungs so bad. He will swear to you that he saw that plane fly over his head, heard it, and watched it hit the freaking Pentagon.
Really?
Now, we know that was blue beam.
Yeah.
We know that was blue beam. You've
or a
seen
missile,
the videos.
And a missile.
I'm going to go with cruise missile.
You've seen the videos where the wing goes behind the building, and then when you back it up, it disappears.
Oh, yeah.
You're talking about,
in New York, yes. I thought you were talking about Pentagon. Pentagon is a cruise missile for sure. But
Right. I'm sorry. What did you ask before I interrupted you? I'm so sorry.
Oh, no. I was just wondering, what do you think happened? Because you're saying, like the lady that made the phone call and said it's not real. Like, where do you think that, like, were there actual planes? Did they go land them somewhere else, kill everybody, and swap them out? I mean, you don't really have an idea.
I did watch a video where they said that it was a possibility that the planes were all taken to, but once again, when you find out there were government contractors on there, just like the lady from Sandy Hook, she died twice. She was the principal, and then she got hit in the Boston bombing. She died, and then she came back for the Boston bombing.
No, that's
not allowed to question
possible.
that. You're not allowed to question that, or you get sued for millions of dollars.
I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? That's the thing. I've heard the conspiracies on it. That's something that I have to leave on that back burner. Someone had theorized that they took them to a army military base in North Carolina or something, that they killed them all in the crematorium, which they would have had on base.
Right.
What was the
$6
gist
million.
of this? Right. Was it over gold? It was to start the... Okay, I get that. It was to bring in the Patriot Act, but we knew that they were spying on us before that.
Right.
Does that even... You know that nothing you've ever done has
Maybe
ever
they
been
had to
hidden.
go public
It's
with it.
to let you know,
Right.
because they have to tell you.
Yeah, they got to go public with it, because
But
eventually everybody's going to find out.
Do you believe that these people are worried about karma of anything?
That's a
or is
great
it just
point.
rubbing it in our faces?
She's got a great point.
That's the line I'm on. I don't know if it's to relieve the karmic responsibility, or if it's just because, just like an abusive fucking husband, they're going to talk shit in front of your friends, and they're going to rub it in your fucking face that you're not allowed to go out, or whatever it is. Like, they're going to fucking abuse you in the worst way possible and make you feel shitty. So maybe it's that.
It could
maybe
be a
it's the
control
karmic
factor.
thing. But I do know that they tell you shit. Just like you guys were just talking about the Men in Black, or you guys weren't, but you were talking about the other thing from the movie. The Men in Black memory erase thing. It's probably real. It's probably fucking real.
They do that to us. But here's the thing. In watching that Billy Carson video, the one thing that he said was there were more than one God. There are gods. And the reason that they created us basically to see how long it would take us to figure out who and what we are. Is that truth? I don't know, dude, because I can't unhear that and unsee that. And I can't say that didn't have an impact on me. Again, when we go back to children, look at children and animals. Look at babies and horses and how the horse knows, don't hurt that baby. The baby smiles at it. They put their heads together. Telepathy. There's telepathy. A baby will lay on, or a dog will lay its head on a mother's pregnant belly.
Yeah.
And it will roll its eyes around. Not because it just hears it. Is it hearing? Why are we not allowed to have contact with dolphins anymore? Dolphin-assisted births, there's no pain. If everything is frequency, which we know that it is,
dolphins are
they
weird.
want to stop that frequency. What do they hammer us with in the chemtrails? Metals. How do I know we're getting hammered? Because my clock radio stops working every single time that we get chemtrails. It gets all staticky. I have one of those weather machines. It stops working. I have to take the freaking remote out, flip the batteries around, put it back in to get it to work again when they're blasting us with energy. This is not the Earth sending us
Those are
healing
ice
energies.
crystals from the jet turbines that are just condensing oxygen and making it super cold, and that's what's causing that. And if you say it's anything else, you're absolutely crazy, okay?
But what are the metals doing? They're blocking your frequency. Everything is about frequency. You've seen the rice experiment. Have you seen that?
Is it?
Of course.
Yes. So
right
real quick though,
we talk about it often.
Going back to, we have the power to speak life or death into something. It's proven in that. When you tell that rice, I love you, the one that gets love, what happens to it? It turns sweet. The one that's ignored turns black, which is exactly what would happen to somebody's heart who was not loved their entire life. The one that was ignored does the same damn thing.
Yeah.
You speak life into every single thing that you touch. If we are all connected, it's funny because then they say love is the highest frequency. It's not. Without authenticity, that has been measured.
We literally have a shirt called "Authenticity is the highest frequency."
Yeah,
Hell yes. Go ahead.
There can be no love without you being your true authentic self. There is not something that you can find disgust in, to find disdain for, if you are not standing in your power as an authentic being.
Yep.
Every single thing is a lie.
Goddamn.
What is CP? Hold on, this popped into my head probably an hour before we came on. They dismissed the mom who can pick up the car off of her kid. In that brief moment, she forgets who she is. What is CPR? You will perform
Breathing
greater
life
miracles
into
than
someone
I.
else.
You are a fractal of God. What are you doing? Bringing someone back to life who has died.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, so an interesting side note on that, I'm not trying to shit on your parade. I'm actually trying to key it in and make it more important. That, do you know that CPR only works like 2% of the time or something? It's very low. And the reason that I say to piggyback that on what you said is because NPCs can't breathe life into somebody. Fucking fake people that don't believe it can't breathe life into somebody. You got to be a real motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Right. What is your thought? Okay, here's the thing. I had a guy who he went out running one day. I go to call DOA. He calls in after he goes, runs, takes a shower, starts not feeling good, calls 911, drops the phone in the middle of the call. They start rescue, start me. I'm 2 minutes away from it. I get there, secure building. I can't get in. I'm watching the clock of how long he's been down since the phone dropped. We're at 4 minutes. Concierge is not at the desk. I pull up my Aspen. The medics are like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm breaking the fucking window. He's already been down 4 minutes. He's like, no, the battalion chief's come with the knockbox. The Knoxbox lock, so he can get the key out. They come, we go up there, his lips are blue. He's freaking dead as a doornail. They start doing CPR on him. They put that, I think it has some kind of acronym, the Sally thing on him that does the compressions for you, that mechanical thing. They're doing that on him. We're now 10 minutes into this, and we're all standing around, and I said, breathe, damn it. Come on, breathe.
There you go.
They take him to the hospital. I get his cell phone. I need his fingerprint. He fingerprinted his phone. Just as I about to touch his finger on the phone rings. His daughter answers. I pick up the phone. I say, hello. The girl says, who's this? I said, are you a family member of his name? She says, who is this? I said, are you his wife? She said, no, I'm his daughter. I said, put your mom on the phone. She flies in. The next day I go to check on him. He had 99% blockage in both carotid arteries.
Oh.
I go and check on them because I told her I would come back the next day and check on her. She said, can you please stop by the hospital? Absolutely. I said, they're taking him into surgery. She was in like North Dakota. He had moved here for work. They were supposed to join him after he had got established. I go in the next day and I walk into the room, and she comes to the door, and he's laying in the bed recovering because they did whatever, put stents in. And we start talking, and he said, I know you. And I said, what? And he said, breathe, damn it. Come on. Breathe.
Holy
Wow.
shit.
Now he was completely dead.
Dude, he was 10 minutes dead, flatlined.
But he saw it.
He heard it. He heard it.
Or at least heard it, yeah. At least
I was
heard
like,
it. Yeah.
you've got to be shitting me. Then you've seen those videos where people who are brain dead aren't really brain dead, and all these people have been unplugging them for years.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
For organ harvesting, they weren't dead. Oh my God. That 10 minutes. Lips were blue. We were 10 minutes into this now, where he was flatlined before they got even like the slightest. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't even know what to say to that.
I have a question. Do you regret? Is there anything that you regret that you did as a cop now that you are is awake, so to say? Did you like arrest somebody that maybe looking back you shouldn't have, or
not legally but morally, like what you feel?
No, and here's the thing: about 5 years in, seeing the patterns, knowing what I knew, I did the complete opposite of what I was supposed to be doing. And I never let anybody go who was drunk. I either arranged for somebody who was supposed to, and here's the thing. When you stop somebody and you put them through sobriety, 0.08 was where I worked, okay? If they blow a 0.09, it's going to take a half an hour to get down to the jail. Are you going to arrest that person? No, because when that goes to court, they're going to blow an 0.05 by the time you go down there. They have to sit for 20 minutes. They have to You have to watch them, make sure they don't burp, make sure they weren't chewing gum, make sure they don't hiccup. That's a no. People who needed to go to jail, criminals, went to jail. I raised that bar and made sure that I let everybody have the grace that they deserved, but they got the speech. Because here's the thing. I didn't take that job to have an ego. I wanted to help people because I grew up seeing things, living through things that I wanted to fight for the person who never felt like they had a voice.
Yeah.
What happens when you speed? You are risking killing somebody else, taking away their everything, the provider in the family, the mother, the wife, the whatever. That's the aspect. 2 years after I graduated, I lost one of my best friends, drunk driving. He killed himself and 3 other people with him. And that was an awakening. 2 years after you graduate from high school, he was one of my best friends. That was part of the motivation to become a cop, because nobody should have that right to take away somebody's everything because of their own personal irresponsibility or because of their arrogance or whatever. So when I stop somebody, in lieu of giving them a ticket, I would say to them, somebody loves you. What would they do without you? Every time that you speed. And this isn't about the punitive charge, because I didn't want to, when you know that punitive charge, this license being suspended, the not being able to get to work, that all compiles in their system. I didn't want to work in that system anymore. I did everything to work against that system.
That was what I was
while
really
still
getting
keeping
to,
my job.
Because I heard you earlier did mention, it doesn't say we need a driver's license in the Constitution to drive, and you're absolutely right. And I even went to jail for having driving while suspended. So that's kind of where I was going with it, but I understand and I agree with the drunk driving and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Right. From a moral aspect, once I knew, and that was the thing, that's what I always wanted to do. I always wanted to be a cop. I always wanted to help people. My in kindergarten, she said, let's go around the room and tell us what you want to do when you grow up. And I'm 5. And I said, I want to make people happy. And she said, that's not a job. You can't do that. But you know what?
She's like, you'll be a hooker.
Yeah, you'll be a hooker. Make happy endings. But here's the thing. In my life, with the experiences that I had, and now, just with my ex, when I can look back and go, holy shit, I manifested that.
Yeah, that's wild.
I've done that. I went to school I went psychology. That was what my degree was in. And as I saw all of that unfold, all these disorders, when you pick up the DSM-5 and you're like, holy shit, this can be narrowed down to 2 things. Depression is brooding from the past. Anxiety is fear about the future. And everything in between. And then you learn that schizophrenia is caused by a freaking parasite in the brain. Link back to cats and everything else.
Everything's not because you wanted to have sex with your mother?
No, right. And that's the thing. So when I saw that, I was like, you know what? I don't want to be a therapist, because I don't think I could sit around and listen to people's problems all day. So I thought, you know what? Hold my beer. I'm going to go and be a cop, and I'm going to have people shoot at me too.
If I literally thought that I could help people, a therapist would be a great job. But I don't think that's what most of them are doing. I really don't. So anyway, go ahead.
And that's the thing. I would never, to this day, and I thank God every day for the fact that I did not work with anybody that was doing anything corrupt. Now, come to find out years later, my old chief had 3 people resign underneath him because he's involved in adult sex, masseuse, whatever. That's all going to come out. 3 guys who were on our anti-trafficking team resigned from our department because he asked them to pay to play. And nobody ever knew it. Wow. The article was buried on like the 20th page of whatever. And one of my guys that I used to work with sent it to me. And I was like, I never liked that guy. I never liked him. I never knew why, but I never liked him. The instinct.
So Bill and I were talking about this about someone else before, about a bad instinct. But also, I said the same thing with a good instinct with you. And the world beats that out of you, trusting your instincts. And so I know you don't know us, but Bill is somewhat of a fucking clairvoyant, because it took me a long time to. So Bill and I have known each other since high school. We've been friends for coming up on fucking 30 years probably at
So
this
you've
point.
really had some excellent adventures.
Yes, we really have. We've known each other a long time.
So to speak.
I totally forgot where I was going now.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit. What was I saying?
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. So, no. It wasn't you. It was just the laughter, and I get carried up in the laughter. But, so there's been multiple times where he told me, like, hey, dude, I just have a bad feeling about this, blah, blah, blah. And something bad would happen. I'd be like, oh, well, that's just, whatever. It took me years, but at this point, I have accepted the fact that there is something about him that looks at a situation and sees that something bad is going to happen and that you should steer away from it. And he doesn't always listen to it himself either.
No, I don't.
But he knows. So I fully believe that happens. I believe that happens with meeting people. I believe that happens. It doesn't always happen through 1 or 2 DMs, by the way. But, like, just, like I said, the shit you said in that, I was like, you think the same way I do. Even if we don't agree on everything, your thought process is critical. You don't want to be pinned down to one exact thing because everything changes all the time, and you question fucking everything. Yeah. And I think we only have like 7 or 8 minutes left, but you got to talk to Bill about the one thing you said in the beginning that you mentioned to me in the messages about the whole Q thing. Like, are we supposed to trust the plan? Are we supposed to hit the streets? Like, what are we supposed to do?
Well, here's the thing that I cannot reconcile no matter how hard you get me to try. Trump ran on the aspect that we're going to save the world, right? We're going to undo everything. We're going to drain the swamp. Who did he hurt the most? He hurt his fan base, but who did he really hurt? He didn't hurt the welfare class because they're unscathed. He ramped up the elites. The elites have made money off of everything, off of COVID, off of everything else. The only people that got destroyed, and I'm not, please hear my heart when I say this. I understand that people who were poor and who were rich lost people too. That's not what I'm saying. You destroyed the people awake like us who got up every day, were trying to live the American dream, were completely removed from the government, wanted no overreach. We just wanted to be left the fuck alone. Yep. That's who he destroyed. That's what I have the problem with. The only people that they could not control were destroyed by COVID. They lost their businesses. Then they gave you the option, go into forbearance. Yeah, I did that after I retired. You know what happened? I lost the 10 years of freaking, what the hell is it called? Brain fade. Equity that I had in my house because they didn't just tack it on like they told you to. Picture somebody being 2 years away from paying their mortgage off, being reset over again. That's who you screwed, dude. And I can't unsee that. He destroyed the very people who have been fighting this government and any kind of boot on their neck for their entire lives. So tell me, Bill, what is the premise behind that?
Oh, God.
Oh, he's not Q anymore.
Well,
he was.
No, I know, but what is it? What am I missing? Is everything that we're seeing that is so fucking ridiculous, because that's all you can say about it, no matter where you want to go, no matter what psyop, and I'm glad we didn't waste time on it. Everyone is more ridiculous than the last one. You can see that everything is staged. When they say we're watching a movie, are they waking us up to who we truly are, which is fractals of God?
I'm gonna
Full circle.
I'm gonna go with it's just like you said, it's one of two things. Okay, it's either the hardest hitting wake up lesson, learn, repeat over and over again. People are not, you know what I mean? So not everybody's gonna make it, all that shit, you know what I mean? Like, this is the most real and in your face life lesson learned in this warp speed kind of happening, or it's we were told to sit and wait until someone saves us while they destroy us. It's really the only two things. But I think everybody, if it's a good thing, then everybody, is supposed to just drop their stupid fucking phones and rush the streets, rush the government buildings, do everything that all the other countries have already done multiple times over and keep doing, you know. And I don't know how many times I've heard, oh, they're waiting on you, we're waiting on you, we're waiting on you.
Yeah, but I don't even know if I believe that, because if that's true, why has nothing changed? Why
Okay,
aren't these
but
countries
then
we
go back
haven't
to
done
this.
any. We haven't done
Fundamentally,
anything.
6
No, not
years
us.
ago, we
Oh.
showed people for 6 years that the election was stolen. The same people who posted, what's his face's movie, what's his name, the one who's always on Fox, Dinesh D'Souza.
Yeah.
Oh,
You make a
Christ.
movie about it. You show it 5,025 ways to Sunday. It was stolen. Here's the 10,000 mules. Here's the phone records. Here's this. 10 million people registered to this one address, and the alternative to that was to go vote harder because he told you to. No.
How
Are we
crazy?
still sitting here because people refuse to do whatever because he said go vote, and they did?
You already beat this. You understand what I'm saying? If we're going on that premise, okay, of the lesson learned type thing, you've already beat it. I've already beat it. Ted's already beat it.
Right.
And that's why it's so easy to black pill now, so to speak, or just to question and not believe anything anymore, is because you've already done that. You've been waiting. You've seen where this is going. It's still going in the direction that it's not supposed to go. It's getting even worse, or is it? There's another thing, you know what I mean? Because we all know about.
They just did exactly what Biden did. I mean, is this last thing where he just made all of this money? He's like, well, I don't know, my kids did it, which is basically the Hunter Biden 10% for the big guy with Burisma, and then he says, oh, buy a Dell computer. Are we at the last phase of ridiculousness where they've done every single thing that they can do, and now he's at that place for Joe? When that happened, I was like, all right, maybe now we're getting somewhere.
I just don't, because it's a psychological operation. There's no telling what the reason was for it at this point.
It's never been more clear that everything and all of it is a psychological operation. And one thing to point that out that I wanted to mention is you mentioned Dinesh D'Souza. So the 2,000 Mules or whatever it was, remember the dude who he did that with, the Greg Phillips dude or whatever the fuck his name is?
Yeah, what happened to him? Where did Sidney Powell and the Kraken go? Is Sidney Powell vote Biden because she sure as hell looks like him?
That's a great point, but also, I don't know if you know this, but Greg Phillips is the same dude that was in the news for saying that he got teleported to a Waffle House. That was the same guy that Trump even posted about and talked about that supposedly worked for the Department of Defense that claims that on a project he got teleported to a Waffle House. They're showing you that it's all fucking ridiculous. And we all just need to look.
There are portals, and they can't do that.
I'm not saying.
One of the reasons they invaded Iraq was because of a portal. Yeah, they can walk through walls. Again,
the portals, the fucking what's his name?
Stargates.
The Stargates, the tomb of what's his fucking name?
Gilgamesh.
Yeah, the Gilgamesh tomb. All of it. All of it. Nothing is what we've been fucking told. It's all bullshit.
I think we're going to need a part 2.
Yeah, would you be willing to do a part 2? Because
absolutely,
we're like scratching the surface.
Thank you so much for allowing me to get this stuff out of my head. Because again, 54 years, I've thought that I was crazy. Is no one else noticing these things? And then when you go back through all of it, and you're like, how much of this is real? How much is everything that we're seeing fake? Is that why they say that it's a movie? Because I don't. And this is the thing that hurts me the most at my core. I do not call hurting innocent men, women, and children a movie. Yeah. Too much death, too much loss, too much suffering, too much destruction to say, oh, you're watching a movie. Are we going to wake up from it when this flash thing happens? I don't know.
Yeah, neither do we. Neither do we. That's the whole thing.
You're right where I'm at.
Yep. I stand undefeated, and we got to have you back for a part 2, but we got to wrap up now. Is there anything else you want to leave people with and tell people if you even care? I don't even think you care, but if you do, tell people where to find you so they can fucking find you and follow you.
I am Witness813.
I will put your Twitter link under the episode also, but we definitely have to have you back for a part 2.
That's coming.
I didn't think it was worth talking about any of the psyops when you know that there's psyops. When was every single thing ever staged? I mean, when you look at Epstein's face, he's Andrew Jackson.
Yes,
right down to the marks. I mean, I'm sure you've seen that. So then you're like, is it everything? Is it? I don't know.
That's part of the plan.
Oh, here. So,
but the fact that you notice it, if you don't have people like you to talk about with it,
yeah,
you feel like you're crazy and you're losing your mind. So thank you for the opportunity to come on. Thank you for helping me trying to connect some dots. And just, again, I know nothing. I will be the first to admit that. I'm trying to piece this all together. Yeah. The one thing that I always go back to is they don't want us to know what we're capable of. And that's why they're trying to take our complete identity away from us, to tell us that we need all these other people. And I go back to that notion. If we are a fractal of God and we can do every single thing that God can do, that's what they're trying to keep hidden from us.
Don't forget.
I agree that they're trying to keep
I can't unsee that.
Both of you real quick, don't forget, we are allowed at this point to talk about these things, which is something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
right. And again,
they're not coming banging our door down yet. And, you know, they know where we live.
I'm not trying to disrespect anybody's beliefs. I'm not, right. Please, I don't want you all to get hate for this. These are questions that I have that I don't have answers for. And I'm just like everybody else trying to figure out, what don't they want us to know? The more that you look outside of yourself instead of saying that you can do every single thing that this God in the Bible, the I am, anything that follows the I am, that's what you are. And they control us with fear, lack, illness.
Yep.
To keep you from realizing in that still small moment, the kingdom of heaven is within you. It's never been outside of you.
Absolutely.
Goddamn. Okay.
All right.
Great.
Part 2.
Part 2 coming.
Everybody,
hold that thought.
Check her out everywhere. Don't forget to go to phoneboothpodcast.substack.com where you can check out everything we have. They do not censor us there. They let us say what we want to say. Check out the merch store if you want. If you want to help us out, go check it out. Helps us put things out. Helps us
and they're great
upload
conversation
bigger files.
starters.
That's plus. Get the mug. Coffee always lays flat. Don't forget about that. We got stickers. We got shirts. We got it all there. And don't forget to go to canambullion.com where you can get all your gold, silver, platinum coins, bars, and bullion. This is not financial advice. Just go buy it. It helps you hedge against inflation. Do that today. Do it. Do it.
Whit, thank you
yes,
so
sir.
much.
Thank you both for having me.
You were
so
extremely
much.
well spoken and enlightening, and it made me it reiterated a lot of things for me personally. Ted?
Look, there's so much that I don't know. There's so much that I want to know, and I hope that someday we get the answers.
And you will.
Us too. Awesome. Thank you so much. Good night, everybody. Peace.
Thank you so much for having me.
You too.